I don't think he was a bad person at all. And I felt quite strongly that that we can't claim the high moral ground simply because we're living 50 or 60 years later. You know? I don't think that we possibly would be any different than if we were living then. And the terrible thing is, I think that there's probably things we're doing now that in 50 years' time people will say, how could you possibly have done that? So I always approached him thinking, well, he's a man of his time, and I don't think I'm any better than him, and that my grandparents would have been the same as him.
It would have been a sign of the times, but in saying that, Mr Neville, as an employee of the government of the day, would have had to follow orders, you know, the bureaucracy and that, but this is the same colonists that have not only did it to Aboriginal people, they're the same people that sent those kids out from Liverpool. So what does that say? If they can do it to their own, which is sad.
And I did a lot of research into Mr Neville, so there's a very good biography of him, and I mean, I'm really sad to say that at the time that he was doing his job, there was a very large part of the population that felt Aborigines should just be shot. And he actually was a kind of middle of the roader. I mean, it's so awful to think that.
See, a lot of the missions and that were formed, first of all, by religious ministers and that, and then, you know, they got on very well with some of the Aborigines, some of the ministers did, and then the government came in and made them reserves and had people, you know, made people out to be slaves and that too. So when they saw what they could get out of, you know, and what the government saw what they could get out of the reserves and the blackfellas that were on the reserves, and they came in and took over.